All right, welcome, 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 humans and gentle humans, to San Francisco's first ever Cliterary Salon. Our next writer to you, Maggie Tokuda-Hall, is a 7,000-time shipwreck winner. Woo! Some shipwreck fans in the audience. Also people who can't count, that's fine. Masked luchador and a vengeful spirit. When she's not howling out doom from atop a craggy peak, rising lonesome from a dark and storm-tossed sea, she finds time to summit the two most highly esteemed and dignified genres of literature, children's books and porn. Without further ado, I give you the octopus-loving literary prodigy, Maggie Tokuda-Hall.
I feel so seen. First I was mad that I'd have to follow Lewis because his hair has more volume than mine, but then I got that really good intro, so I feel good about it now. I'm going to read you guys a piece from Shipwreck, and specifically, how many guys have read or seen Princess Bride? Yeah, it's not like super niche. So I'm going to read a rewrite of the scene the way that I believe it should have gone. If any of you remember, Buttercup has been kidnapped, and then she is saved by a man in black, and she is abused by him for a few hours, and so she pushes him down a hill, and as he's rolling down a hill, he yells, "As you wish." Yes? Y'all remember? Yes. Good, I'm glad we're all on the same page. At this point, my wife wants it known she feels violently cheated, not being allowed a scene of reconciliation on the ravine floor outside the fire swamp between the two lovers. My reply was originally that A, each of God's beings from the lowliest on up is entitled to at least a few moments of genuine privacy, and B, I'm shit at writing about actual intimacy, and as such rely on a combination of Wesley negging people to death and proclamations of true love from minor characters, whose opinions seem dubious at best. But after my wife complained at such great and terrible length, I allowed her to write the scene she believed I had omitted. And that's what I shall read to you now. After striding gracefully down the hill, Buttercup pulled the man in black to his feet. He was dusted and bruised from his tumble, his mask askew. But that was her Wesley, all right. The man who just spent hours verbally abusing her, and smacked her once in the face. That was her true love. According to the narrator. Which made sense, apparently. Buttercup narrowed her eyes at him. "You're a real dick," she told him. "Well, true love is complicated, and I wish I could push you down a cliff again." "Buttercup, my darling, my true love, You died," Buttercup shouted. "You, like, actually ghosted." But my true love, my true love, you keep saying those words. I do not think that they mean what you think they mean. She looked around angrily. She was, like many of us, impatient to be rid of her high school boyfriend. "Which way is the fire swamp? That way?" "You would not leave me again, not so soon after I've rescued you," Wesley pleaded. He tried in vain to take her hand, but Buttercup was too angry to be mollified. "Boy, bye," said Buttercup. I wrote this right after that album came out. And she turned on her heel and walked with purpose and confidence into danger and darkness and into the fire swamp. Buttercup knew of the dangers, of course. She was aware of the fire bursts and of the ROUSs. For a while, Wesley trailed behind her, pirate-splaining these dangers to her again. But she quickly lost him. And so later, when she felt the undeniable feeling of being watched, she assumed it was Wesley, having finally caught up. Despite herself, her sex senses tingled. Maybe Wesley had come to prove himself worthy after all. She'd liked him better not so long ago when he was obedient and doting and fetched snacks. "Show yourself," she called into the darkness. At first she was answered only with silence, but she knew. Someone was watching her. Someone was there. "I demand you show yourself," yelled Buttercup. What she did not say was that she could feel whoever it was, could feel their eyes as they traveled up and down her body, and that it was turning her on. To Buttercup's endless delight, the creature emerged. It looked like an actor in a low-budget rat costume, crawling on all fours. It bowed low before Buttercup, reverentially. More like rodent of unusual sexiness. It was her dearest and most profound sexual fantasy to be worshipped like a cruel Aztec goddess. She liked the way the rodent bowed before her. She liked it a lot. I apologize, the rat said, but I am living for your competence. Many humans enter the fire swamp, none survive, but you give me life. You are serving queenly goddess realness up in here. And the rat bowed again, low and artfully. Obviously, said Buttercup. Her own fire swamp was running hot and wet. Buttercup didn't want to seem too thirsty, even though she was. She was the thirstiest woman in all the vaguely European made-up kingdoms in all the world. She was so thirsty she was dehydrated. My name is Rat, said the rat, and full disclosure, I'm a messy Libra slut, a vector for infectious disease, and a total Hufflepuff. There's a Hufflepuff over there. And if you're down and it would please you, I'd like to get super strange all over your body, right here in the mud with our mammal parts. As I wish, Buttercup shouted. And in 2 urgent strides, Buttercup met Rat in an explosion of campy cult classic desire. Their bodies were instantaneously entangled as only a woman in a rat's body can be. That is to say, with Buttercup's arms wrapped tightly around Rat's musky body, her fingers digging into Rat's fur, and Rat's tail inching slowly, sexily up Buttercup's skirt. Rat's paws, though tiny in proportion to the rest of Rat's body, pawed effectively at Buttercup's titties, making her nipples taut with titillation. Buttercup got so wet the swamp became a mire. And when, after much expert teasing and stroking of Buttercup's pounding clitoris, Rat's tail finally penetrated her ravenous plot hole, Buttercup squirted so obviously that the mire became a cum marsh, which smelled fantastic. She and Rat scissored so vigorously, small fires broke out around them. Buttercup's labia minora rubbed against Rat's whatever it is that giant rats have. Labia majora rubbed against something furry and wet. Hairy taints smacked against hairier taints. Rat's tail found Buttercup's butthole, and Buttercup erupted into screams of pleasure. Convincing pyrotechnics exploded beside them, mimicking but not matching the catharsis of Buttercup's supernova of an orgasm. It may not have been love, but it was true. And it was hot. It was gross. Rat came, and then Buttercup came, and then Rat came, which made Buttercup come again too. Their cries and moans and grunts, a chorus of pleasure that rang throughout the swamp, into Gilder, and even echoed into Florin, and probably England also. Of all the fucking happening in all the world, Rat and Buttercup's fucking was the hottest. Far away, Wesley wondered what all the yodeling was. He, of course, had never known the cries of female orgasm. Nor would he ever in his short and embarrassing life. After hearing the oral evidence of Buttercup's hitherto unknown erotic mastery, he stumbled into a patch of quicksand created by their seemingly uncountable orgasms and died. Don't worry, super slowly. I'll never fuck another human again, Buttercup shouted. And she never did. I'm so sorry. After my wife read her tale aloud to me, her face pink with exertion, I broke the bad news to her. I don't get it, I said. What's the point? If her face had been pink, it was now red with fury. The point? She shouted. The point is that you have no concept of true love or female desire. Your male lead is a dickhole, your narrator is a chauvinist, everyone's sick of reading your self-indulgent asides, and also, in a related note, you are terrible in bed. And she threw the papers at me and left to go masturbate, an activity to which it was made very clear I was not to be invited. And then, rather like the Buttercup of her tale, she never fucked me again. The end.